Sup everybody, it's your boy Corey, aka GQ Saint, back from a reaction video. Once again, this is another IGN video. This is their, well, I think they got early access to the game. The game I'm talking about is the Resident Evil 4 remake. So definitely excited. So far, most of the reviews been pretty much been spot on for me. Anyway, definitely excited to do this because once again, Resident Evil 4 to this day is my favorite Resident Evil game. So least favorite, I gotta say sets. I couldn't stand sets. The controls, also the plot. What they try to turn to an action adventure. They slowly did that in Resident Evil 5, but still I enjoy Resident Evil 5 rather than Resident Evil 6. And then Resident Evil 5, that's when whole Chris punching boulders and all that crap. But yeah, that was kind of silly when I first saw that. Anyway, let's go and dive into the video, see what they reviewed. See what it's about. Well, see what their perspective, what their review is. I hope they give this a good rating. So anyway, let's go down on in. You already know, special question, drop a comment below. Let me know what you're at to. Let's get it.
I'll let myself out.
In light of the high-quality remakes of Resident Evil 2 and 3 released in 2019 and 2020, it felt like a safe bet that Capcom would do an equally admirable job of rebuilding Resident Evil 4. Even so, when I hit the start button on this 2023 remake of the legendary 2005 action horror game, I wasn't prepared for how forcefully it would knock my knees out from under me and suplex me headfirst into 16 hours of sustained tension and exhilaration.
Here we go.
This fully revitalized campaign dramatically one-ups the original in almost every conceivable way. Its Spanish countryside setting is substantially more sinister, its pacing has been tightened, and its controls have been modernized in order to allow its signature shooting mechanics to really shine. I've been waiting 18 years for a game to thrill me in the same way as Resident Evil 4. As it turns out, this whole time I've just been waiting for another Resident Evil 4.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Evil Lost Plug.
The original Resident Evil 4 is a landmark installment in Capcom's seminal survival horror series that, for many, would need no introduction. However, considering it came out back when we assumed that Episode 3 would be the last Star Wars film,
that is
and
true.
iPhones didn't even exist yet, I should probably give it some context. At the time, it was a big deal for Resident Evil to switch from the series' traditional fixed-camera perspective to a then radical over-the-shoulder viewpoint that brought us uncomfortably close to the gore and put the emphasis on reflexes and precision targeting. And as a result, Resident Evil 4 was an action horror epic without peer. Its influence has subsequently been felt in countless other third-person classics like Gears of War, Dead Space, and The Last of Us, but it hasn't aged all that well.
Games.
In preparation for this review, I returned to the original game for the first time in years, and was shocked at how badly this remake was needed. The movement of main star Leon Kennedy felt ridiculously restricted. He struggles to get around as though he's wearing an old pair of skinny jeans that haven't fit him since his police academy days, and is immobilized anytime he gets his gun out. By modern standards, it's absurd, and would absolutely put off a lot of newcomers before they could begin to understand why this game is so highly fit him since his police academy days, and is immobilized anytime he gets his gun out. By modern standards, it's absurd, and would absolutely put off a lot of newcomers before they could begin to understand why this game is so highly regarded.
That's the control one that bad to me, to be honest, back in the day. But it's their
Thankfully, those days are gone. Not unlike the recent Metroid Prime Remastered, this Resident Evil 4 remake plays like a 2023 game. Luxuries like simultaneous twin-stick movement and targeting mean that you can cautiously back away while still keeping your gun trained on the advancing hordes, or sidestep out of the way of an incoming crossbow bolt without having to remove your eye from the scope
those
of your
guys
rifle.
were so annoying.
This newfound freedom of movement makes you better equipped to really make the most of the immensely satisfying area-specific damage effects. Whether you're blowing kneecaps out to expose an enemy to a melee finisher, or simply reveling in some of the grisliest headshots in the history of video game shotguns. Leon's combat knife can also be used to parry enemy attacks or bring a swift finish to staggered foes, or to take enemies out silently after he's crept up on them with his new ability to crouch. Ah, must be those looser fitting jeans. Crucially though, this overhauled control setup makes combat more fluid without compromising any of the challenge. The added benefits
yeah,
of the
gotta
knife are
save
balanced by
Ashley.
the fact it takes damage with each use, so you can only rely on it sparingly. Otherwise it will break like a tiny master sword and must be repaired at a merchant before you can resume stabbing. Meanwhile, enemies
Really?
move in dangerously erratic ways and have a tendency to quickly overwhelm in numbers. So you still have to make snap decisions when it comes to prioritizing targets. Resident Evil 4 may well give you a more functional toolset to aid Leon's survival, but you still need to keep your wits and reflexes sharp. Because losing your head amidst a crowd crawling with a murderous mind-controlling parasite can swiftly result in Leon literally losing his. I also love how the tactile nature of almost every element in your surroundings can be used as a tactical
I remember that
advantage.
dude.
Whether you're baiting the terrifying Dr. Salvador into clumsily carving his chainsaw through a crowd of his own minions, or setting fire to a cow so that it rages out of control and scorches everyone in its path. When ammunition is always at a premium, it's both practical and ridiculously entertaining to let a flaming hunk of hamburger do your dirty work. Many of you
cool
under
they
30
changed
may
it
have
up
no
from
clue what Resident Evil 4 is even about. But it's perhaps best described as riding a roller coaster that's careening off the rails to crash through a row of spectacular haunted houses. What starts as a fairly straightforward rescue mission, with Leon sent into a small Spanish village in search for the US president's missing daughter Ashley, soon hurtles into a heart-stopping series of battles against towering trolls, desperate defenses against crazed hordes in boarded-up cabins, outrageous assaults on a heavily fortified castle, explosive minecart chases, and countless run-ins with some truly twisted freaks infected with the mutating Las Plagas parasite.
It's still sticking with the roots,
all of which look
with the horror roots,
consistently incredible, reimagined on Capcom's RE engine. The
'Cause
original
basically,
RE4's famously
Resident Evil
flabby
5,
final third has been tightened
I
up
wasn't scared at all.
considerably,
Same
and
how
it all
Resident Evil
builds
6, I
towards an
wouldn't.
improved
There were
and
no
genuinely imposing
I wouldn't.
final
I had
boss
no
fight
jump scares.
that
This
took
one
all
had
of my
little
skill
jump
and ammo
scares.
reserves to topple. Of equal importance to its renovated environments and enemies is the anxiety-inducing audio design. Whether it's the manic chanting of its parasite-riddled peasant farmers, or the throaty rumble of a chainsaw motor idling in the distance, just listening to it all routinely had me inching towards the edge of my seat in anticipation for each
chainsaw
encounter.
guy.
So when the carnage kicked off and the tension spiked, I had hardly any couch left to cling to.
No food for you!
At every step of the journey, there are enhancements both big and small. The original's gimmicky, quick-time event-heavy knife battle against Major Krauser has been transformed into a gripping blend of parries and counter-attacks.
Yeah, I love the knife
While
fight.
the frustration of escorting Ashley through certain sections has been significantly reduced by ditching her health bar, so you don't need to waste valuable green herbs on healing her.
You hurt?
No, I'm okay.
Yeah,
Elsewhere,
you had
there
to
have been
make she's
considerable
one of most
structural
no one
changes that
cares
make the
everywhere. 'Cause
environment
if she
feel more
dies, game
cohesive.
over.
For instance, in the original game, the lake area primarily served as the backdrop to a boss fight. But now you can fully explore the lake and its surroundings by boat, docking at various inlets to scour cabins and caves for additional puzzles,
Some kind of shrine.
valuable treasures, and hidden horrors lying in wait. When you need to take a breather, the mysterious merchant returns to keep Leon topped up with a suite of dangerous devices like a quaint form of
He used to always do that.
Welcome.
Yeah, there he said it. Yeah,
along with new
did that.
recipes that allow you to craft the exact ammo
He
types
said,
you
"What are
want
you
when out in the
buying?"
world, rather than having to rely on randomized drops. He also pays the bounties on the optional side quests that have been added throughout the campaign, which prove to be fun little diversions away from the story's murderous main path. These bounties are paid in gemstones which can be traded for unique items and upgrades, so although
Yeah,
I was
you
initially
definitely
sad to
upgrade
see the
your
iconic
weapons.
red dot sight removed from Leon's starting pistol, it only took me a few short quests to be able to buy one and fit it myself.
As you wished.
The merchant also gives you access to the new bolt thrower weapon during your first encounter, and its reusable bolts come in handy in the story's early hours when you're still finding your feet. Yet despite his generous prices and fabulous wares, I couldn't help but feel a little shortchanged after each transaction, since his re-recorded dialogue isn't delivered with quite the same kind of goofy charm as that of the grizzled original.
Really?
However, in
Yeah,
the scheme
I
of
like it
things,
when
it
he
says
say
a lot
that.
for
That was
the
pretty
overall
cool.
quality of this remake, when the only minor black mark I can
I don't
give
know
it
if
is
I
for
managed
a
to get all
slightly
those songs
blander
that my
black
brother
market
did.
dealer. And if this is your first time playing, it likely won't bother you in the slightest. Whether you're a fan of the original or a newcomer with a hankering for some action-heavy horror of the highest quality, Resident Evil 4 is like a parasite-riddled Spaniard, a total no-brainer. Its combat is friction-free but no less stress-inducing
Yeah,
thanks
it
to its
definitely looks a lot
ferocious
more
cast of
challenging.
creatures. Its story rapidly shuttles through a series of action scenes that are diverse in structure but uniformly unwavering in intensity, and its world is rich in detail and full of fun and often snarling surprises. Its improvements over the original are too numerous to list, from simple quality of life changes to completely overhauled boss fight mechanics, and with the exception of the disappointingly diminished personality of the merchant, the team at Capcom has barely put a foot wrong. So what are you buying? Only the most relentlessly exciting Resident Evil adventure of all time that's been rebuilt, refined, and realized to the full limits of
Oh
its
man,
enormous
10 out of 10,
potential.
really?
A wise
Cool.
choice, mate.
Don't get yourself killed now.
For more IGN reviews, check out our verdicts on Bayonetta Origins and Dead Cell's Return to Castlevania.
This is cool. So they gave the game a 10 out of 10. That's what's up.
And for everything else, stick with IGN.
Where's everyone going?
Bingo. Okay, that was a pretty cool video. So it's rare I ever see. I can't remember last time when they gave a game a 10 out of 10, but yeah, this is the way it looks like. It looks great. Different improvements. So they said on the downside, what's the merchant? They kind of missed that demeanor. So you're saying, what are you buying? I like when he say that was pretty cool. And also when he did a welcome, he did this. Put his, Robo said, I got everything what you need right here on me. Anyway, definitely gonna play it. So I just want to know what your opinions are. Anyway, go and finish this video up, run and drop for you today. Anyway, make sure you give a boy a like, comment, and subscribe. Have a fantastic day. Peace.